Do we vote based on who has a clear manifesto for us? We vote for whose manifesto is more deceptive and more appealing, without questioning ourselves, what will be the funding model? What will be the source to put what you are telling us to do? Are we likely to see voters, the elites and the Gen Z and a few who normally vote based on their right, exercising their right? What is the majority of Kenyans? The people who have the capacity to understand the reason why people should vote don't vote. Well, this brings out to a very fundamental question. Do people vote or do machines vote? Are people queuing to vote human beings exercising their rights to think right? Or they have suspended their brain to think right, they become robots, vote, get out, and as they are walking outside the booth, they have started complaining for another 5 years. Why do I get this narrative? A voter is completely a different animal. A voter is minus the capacity to think outside one ethnicity. A voter is a person who does not see development, sees the 50 shillings or the 1,000 shillings is given. A voter is completely different, because you see, when you want to see how people vote, do they vote based on the principle of gender? No. If we were voting on the principle of gender, all leadership positions would have gone to our sisters, but they don't. Do we vote based on who has a clear manifesto for us? We vote for whose manifesto is more deceptive and more appealing, without questioning ourselves, what will be the funding model? What will be the source to put what you are telling us to do? A voter is a different person. A voter, and this is one of the issues that are going to happen in 2027. Are we likely to see voters, the elites and the Gen Z and a few who normally vote based on their right, exercising their right? What is the majority of Kenyans? Look at what happened in the US. The intelligent voter, the epitome of democracy, the biggest level of development, the technological development country, voted Trump. That was their guy. You remember? That's what their guy.
Yep.
So it is not about who is best for us. It is who carries the emotions of the day, who takes advantage of the prevailing situation in 2027. So the Kenyans have insisted to elect mediocrity all through, but they expect results. I give always this analogy. You give a child a certain responsibility to do, but you expect the results to be that of a professor at the University of Nairobi. That child cannot deliver. Garbage in, garbage out. So until we have that constitutional document called the vote that can liberate you or that can take you to anguish for 5 years, until we train people to use that simple weapon. Commercial investors do market research of who is going to be their target market. And that target market is segmented according to what you want. At the end of it, every business person looks at the bottom line. So politicians are looking at what do Kenyans want. They are responding to what Kenyans want. So that instead of doing CDF to pay school fees for children who are going to school, the Kenyans don't want you to pay school fees. They want you to get that money and hand them as handouts. You fail to give them the handout, they don't elect you. And until we face it, very few Kenyans want to admit that we are the problem. not the leaders. The leaders are responding to what we want. So that if it is a funeral, people are there not to mourn. People are there waiting to be given handouts. So the question is, if you don't give those handouts, you don't get into positional power.
Right.
It is us who give birth to those leaders by voting them in. It is us who give them that sense of impunity. It is us who give them powers they do not have. We have not given them those powers, but we celebrate when they are trampling down on others. Because to us, we are saying our community is okay. So until we have a discussion and look at ourselves, do we vote knowing the consequences of that one tick at a ballot? People above 18 are to the tune of over 30 million. Those are people who are supposed to have registered and voted. Every election, only 10 to 15 million decide for the rest of everybody. The people who have the capacity to understand the reason why people should vote don't vote. Their job is to sit and make complaints, lament, cry. How many elites are involved in an election? They're not there. Have you ever seen any politician going to campaign in Muthaiga or in Runda or in Karen? But they live there. But they go to campaign in Kayole. Why? They are gullible. They are vulnerable. The people who are supposed to make a statement are nowhere. Until the elites, until you, my sister, driving, until you, my brother, wake up, go home, tell your folks who are always asking you, send me M-Pesa money, I buy bread, send me this, my kid is not going to school. Tell them that it is you who has decided not to have money. Vote for somebody, create a government that is responsive to your needs, not a government that is responsive to its needs.